My parents were absolutely insistent on hard work and accountability. They were a tremendous influence on me, and I have 3 older siblings. I got out of college with a BA with absolutely no marketable skills, I just had this degree. And I ended up going to work for a couple of brokerage firms in the back offices, and then the market tanked. I answered a blind ad in the newspaper. I think the title was Government Liaison Analyst, and it turned out to be Motorola. So I took this job, having no idea what I was going to be doing. And the first day, they put me in a conference room with a copy of the FCC rules and said, well, read this because this is what you're going to be working on. That's how I got involved in wireless. And it was before we even called it wireless. What I was hired to do was prepare FCC applications for the Motorola sales force. My first boss was a guy named George Dagnall, who's a little bit of a legend in the land mobile industry. It was an all-male company with salespeople and engineers, and he said, if you don't get a degree of some sort, the best you can have is my job, and you're not going to be happy with that. So that's what made me go back to law school. When I first graduated from law school, Morgan offered me a job.
She decided to stay at Motorola, and we stayed close. I worked with her, and I worked with her boss. Len Kulski subsequently became Liz's husband, and they were a well-known partnership in the telecom space for like 30 years after that.
I joined Dempsey and Koplowitz. They were broadcast attorneys. It clearly was not going to be a long-term relationship. A guy named David Nace called and said, why don't you come and work with us? And I did SMR and private internal systems.
Most lawyers can't be everybody's lawyer, but Liz always somehow managed to make it work, and everybody felt fine about it.
I always said if I ever had vanity plates on my car, it would be 18262, because 18262 took spectrum from the broadcasters and gave it to what we called land mobile at the time for both cellular and specialized mobile radio, which is kind of my area of expertise. And so all these new opportunities opened up.
When I got here in 1990, she was on top of the private radio industry, and today in 2025, she still is.
Land mobile radio was all site-specific, one site and one frequency at a time. The Part 90 frequencies, each frequency has special conditions on it.
Every rule has an exception, and every exception has exceptions.
It's a labyrinth. There was no place you could go look it up. You just had to live it for a while, which I had, doing all that stupid licensing. So what I did was work with clients to find them frequencies so they could build their businesses and make money. AMTA was just an association to lobby for the interests of the SMR community. Most of my clients sold to FleetCall, Nextel. Over time, that business has certainly diminished. Smaller fleets, they've all gone to commercial, as they should. Not only was there some disagreement about the way the world should look within the SMR industry, between SMRs and business industrial, there was even more of a gap. I think Mark Crosby is a very forward-looking person. He believed we would have more of a voice at the FCC than competing with one another. And, keep the competition in-house, work out the deals internally, and then take it to the FCC as a package. EWA, they really are the voice of the Part 90 land mobile community. They do what I was doing. They find frequencies for people. I do all the drafting for them.
I'm such a geek that I get so much pleasure out of reading FCC pleadings. To read one of hers, every paragraph knows where it's going from the first word. It's a beautiful thing.
The private radio industry is like a black magic industry to the regular telecom lawyer. It is like she just does things and has accomplished things and has found ways to solve problems for clients that are just different than everything that we do. And she is, an island here in this firm. Like there's no one else that can do what she does.